So I have my handy dandy planner. Let's go to the right month. October I read 4 books. Well, one of them was an audiobook, and I DNF'd, or just wasn't able to finish 2 books, it looks like. So the first book I finished in October. It's okay, Alex is watching the kids. So if you hear crying, it's okay because Alex is there. So the first book I finished in October was Storm and Fury by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I read this one and it definitely gave me spoilers because in September I finished White Hot Kiss and I didn't have any of the other books in that trilogy, but I had this one, which is like another little series based off of other characters in those ones. So I just decided to read this one, which definitely spoiled things in the ending of that one, but it doesn't really bug me. I enjoyed this. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I don't think it was the best book, the most well written, but it was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. So if you're looking for something fun, fast to read, escapism, these are highly entertaining. So this one is about Trinity, and she is 18. She is going blind in the book. She has some sort of eye disease. I forget. I did not write it down. Writing Storm and Fury was uniquely difficult for me. It wasn't because the spin-off series I hadn't visited in a while, even though that is never easier. It wasn't because I was expanding the world, rewriting it in a way. It was because Trinity shared the same progressive eye disease as me. Retinitis pigmentosa is a group of rather rare genetic disorders that involve the breakdown and eventual death of the retina. So the other trilogy and this one, oops, is about wardens, which are gargoyles and demons. And a lot of romance. So then we have the second book I read, and that is Fable by Adrienne Young. This is the Fairy Loot edition, which is sparkly pages. So this one I love. I love this author's writing because it's just so easy to read and it's so engaging, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like she writes really clean stories. Like they're easy to just read and enjoy. That doesn't really make sense. I don't know, I just really like her writing. It's just so easy to devour. This is about Fable. She was left on an island full of thieves and not really the best people by her father after a big storm sunk their ship and her mother passed away. Her father left her on this island. 4 years after getting dropped off on the island, she is able to get the help of a merchant named West to get her off the island. And yeah, so she wants to find her father and get a job on his ship, and it's a good book. I gave Fable 5 stars. The next book I read was Horrified, and this is by Katrina Leno. My copy has like an X-Acto knife cut on it, which is kind of sad, but it's fine. This one, I don't know. I have a lot of feelings towards. I gave it a 3, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, okay. So this book, I wonder if I can just put it here. No, it's fine. So this book, I enjoyed the beginning and the middle. I feel like it was creepy. There was a lot of build up. It was just creepy, and it was getting a bit more creepy, and I am very easily scared and creeped out. So even just a little bit of creepiness, highly affected. But the ending was just not like the big punch of dramaticness that I thought it would be. I was expecting something like super crazy. I mean, the ending, I don't know, like stuff still happens at the ending, and it's not like, I'm not saying like if you read it, I mean the ending is like stuff still happens, but it's just not. I was kind of let down. I don't know. know, it's just, it's not my favorite type of ending, you know, where it's not wrapped up cleanly for you. I like endings that are nicely wrapped up for me, where I'm like, yay, I know what everyone's doing, or I have a better idea what is happening to these people. But I find a lot of like standalones I've read this year just don't give me that ending, and it kind of really bugs me. Apparently I really like everything to be tied up. So that was kind of frustrating. I gave Horrid 3 stars. And then I listened to an audiobook. I think I just listened to one. Nate just pushed a chair into my bedroom door. So I listened to one audiobook in October, and it was Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Dropped my book. And this one was written by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was also the one who read it for the audiobook. And wow, okay, so this I would definitely recommend. I would also recommend the audiobook because his voice is very nice to listen to. Did it make me feel dumb? Yes. Yes, it did. Did I, like, yeah, I listened to it and I was like, okay, cool. Some of this, like, reminds me of school, and, like, I kind of have, like, the very basic understanding, so what he's saying kind of makes sense, but also, wow, I need to go back to school, I think. Like, I really want to go back and learn. Yeah, that's what that did. So apparently I kind of want to pick up more nonfiction books where it teaches me things, because it was a lot of fun to learn things, and then it was also a very humbling moment. Yeah, it was between 3 and 4 hours long, and it was really good. I did not speed that book up because it was a very simplistic explanation for astrophysics, so I needed it not sped up to listen to. Yeah. Then moving into November. So the only physical book I have here is Earth's End by Elise Kova. This is book 3 of Air Awakens. Man, okay, I don't know about this book. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because I just don't know how I feel about this book. I feel confused. I really liked the first 2, but the pacing in this one was just so all over the place that when I finished reading, like, I was really forcing myself to finish it at the ending bit, or through the middle, I guess. I was forcing myself, the ending got exciting, and then it just, my back really hurt, sorry. And it was just very disappointing. Yeah. Here, so all of the action scenes and, like, super exciting parts, instead of having them longer, because there was so much build-up, like, there was so much more that could be done, instead of fully, like, developing those exciting action, very critical points that could have been bigger and longer, I don't know, they felt like they were cut very short. So it just made everything seem super easy, and it was all very easy for them. And then all of the slow parts, the slow scenes, the political scenes, just her walking around, talking to people, all of that was, like, dragged out way unnecessarily long. It just left the book very unbalanced. Then I have a very, very exciting book. It was an ebook that I got off NetGalley, and it was Namesake, which is the second book to Fable, which isn't out yet. I think it comes out March 2021. I'll have the date here. After I finished Fable, I didn't know what to do with myself. All I wanted to do was read Namesake. It was on NetGalley, and I got to read it, and I loved it. I'm going to do a separate review on Fable and Namesake. Yeah. 5 out of 5. So then I listened to 3 women's romance, women's literature sort of books. One was an ebook, the rest were audiobooks. So I listened to Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Okay, I'll just read the notes I wrote here. I gave it 4 to 5 stars. I told my friends to read it as well. My thoughts, I wrote freaking hilarious. I think the audiobook made it a bit funnier. So Chloe has fibromyalgia. She was almost hit by a car and decided to make a get a life list. She gets Red to help her. Funny romance ensues. I liked this book. The audiobook was just so funny, and I feel like there were a lot of like scenes. What are these, like R-rated scenes, you know? And just the audiobook made it, I just laughed. It was just slightly funny and awkward, so I laughed through those. Chloe is such a funny character. I don't even know how to, she was so funny. I do have a friend that does have fibro, and I don't know, I think it's nice that it is in a book, because a lot of people don't like believe that they're in pain all the time, or believe the amount of pain they can be in, and they just kind of disregard it because it's not like you can't physically see anything, so it has a lot of stigma around it. And it was a good book, so I would recommend it. Just know that there are some scenes that are a little steamy. The next book I listened to was The Bromance Book Club by Lissa K. Adams. So I started this, I think, in October, but then my the file ran out of time because it's from the library. So I finished it in November. So this is about Gavin, and he's a professional baseball player, and him and his wife are having issues, and she wants a divorce. So his friends invite him to their bromance book club, where they read women's romance novels to try and understand their wives better and to save their marriages, because in the past they've all had issues that they had to work on. And yeah, so his friends help him figure it all out so he can get back with his wife and they can be happy and start a new chapter. And I thought it was funny. I just thought it was a good time. I mean, some of it was pretty emotional, but I just thought it was fun. I have seen some negative reviews. I mean, it is pretty cliched. Like, it is pretty cliche, but if you're looking for a book that ends happily, this is one for you. The last book I have to share with you is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary, and the cover definitely intrigued me, and then I heard what it was about and it just reminded me of like K-dramas I had watched, so I definitely wanted to read it. So this is about Tiffy, and she moves into a flat share to leave her ex-boyfriend's place where she's currently staying. He's not a good person, so she needs to leave that situation, and she ends up doing this flat share, which is a bed share. He's a nurse, so he works night shift and she works day shift, so they're never there at the same time. So Tiffy is leaving an abusive relationship, and it goes through a lot with that. And then also Leon, who is the nurse, he is trying to get his brother out of jail. So they're each working on their own problems, but then they come together. I like the beginning and I like the ending, but the middle did kind of fall apart for me for a little bit. There was one little scene in there that it might have been that I just lost my spot, and then you know when you lose your spot in the book and then you find it, but you might not be exactly where you were, and it just kind of gets muddled, or it wasn't that exciting. Yeah, that's just this one in particular thing that happened. I just was kind of meh and not really into it. Yeah, so I only have 4 books to actually hold up. So that was my wrap up for October and November. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun reading, tried out some new genres, ebooks, audiobooks, physical books. It was all a lot of fun. So thank you for watching my wrap up video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.